Hey everybody, welcome back for another memory keeping plan with me. This is for the week of December 22nd through the 28th, so of course Christmas week. Happy belated Christmas to those of you who celebrate, and I use a Cinderella Paper Christmas kit called Howdy Christmas, which is very like Western themed, obviously, and I really love the colors in this. I really just love the art. One of my favorite features is the little cowboy gingerbread man and the other Christmas cookies in some of the boxes, and I really loved how this kit turned out. So yeah, this is obviously the week of Christmas. It's also the week that I finished grading for the semester. It's also the week that more episodes of Stranger Things season 5 came out, so there are going to be some spoilers. I'll let you know when I'm going to start spoilers, so you have time to click out of the video if you haven't watched the latest season, and then I'll add a timestamp somewhere if you want to stick with the video and fast forward to that point. So more Stranger Things, and then also we were just getting ready to go away for New Year's for our trip. So we were doing some last minute planning because honestly, I do think our Puerto Rico trip could have benefited from some more planning ahead of time, but there just wasn't time. The fall is such a busy season for both me and my husband with work that we kind of winged it on a lot of the trip. We had like the core essentials booked and planned, but then some things got changed like while we were there that we had booked. So, sometimes you just got to go with the flow. But yeah, we did some last minute planning just to figure out some of the finer points of the trip. And then I think we were supposed to go celebrate a friend's birthday this week. Their birthday's on New Year's Eve, but they got the flu from what I could tell, so that didn't end up happening. So they're doing fine now, but this week, not so much. Oh, and I sent out our Christmas cards as well. So I think I'm going to kind of talk through my thoughts on Stranger Things season 5 for the base part of this video, just because there's not much of note. I do really like this letters to Santa box for the day that I was addressing Christmas cards, and there's little claw clips and friendship bracelets and cookies and all sorts of cute little things in this art. I forget who the artist is for this one. I could probably track it down, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, if you want to click out of the video because I'm going to talk about Stranger Things and you haven't watched it and you care about spoilers, I totally understand. I will insert a timestamp here when I stop talking about Stranger Things because I am going to limit it to just the base portion of this video. Alrighty. Everyone who doesn't want spoilers is gone, right? Right? Okay, here we go. So on Christmas, chapters 5, 6, and 7 of season 5 came out. And I had started the week by trying to rewatch the earlier episodes in the season. I didn't quite make it through all of them, but I continued my rewatch later in the week as well. And I do feel like chapters 5, 6, and 7 were a little bit slower, or at least not as like snappy as the first 4. Although there was like one episode in the first 4 episodes of the season that like felt a little bit exposition heavy, but that makes sense for the beginning of the season. So the first watch of them, I've watched all of the season twice at this point because apparently it's my point of obsession here at the end of this year. It was My Chemical Romance from like July to December, and then November, December, January. I'm obsessed with Stranger Things right now. So that's how we're surviving right now. It's just how the brain's going. It's how I'm getting through everything else going on in the world. So yeah, initially I really liked chapters 1 through 4. And I still stand by that. And initially watching chapters 5, 6, and 7, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm a little nervous about the finale. I'm also going to talk about the finale in this plan with me instead of the next one because I want to keep the next plan with me fully focused on our trip. So yeah, and that way I can keep that one spoiler free as well. So yeah, I was a little worried with chapters 5, 6, and 7. We were getting a lot of information. There were a lot of things I really liked in these episodes. Like I think the talk between Jonathan and Nancy, I loved that scene immediately. My husband was like, I don't know about this. I'm like, no, this needs to happen. Because if you've been here before, you know that my ultimate dream for Nancy is that she goes off and figures out what the heck she wants. And because she has admitted so many times that she doesn't know. And at the end of the series, she still doesn't quite know, right? And I think, honestly, that makes me like her more. I have not always liked Nancy Wheeler. I've found her very frustrating sometimes, and I think I've said this before. I'm realizing now maybe it's because part of her things that I don't like about her are things that I don't love about myself. So I am quite happy. This is kind of getting into the finale spoilers at this point, but like I am quite happy with how Nancy Wheeler's character arc ended in the timeline of the show. I think it makes sense that she's doing what she's doing now, and that ultimately she didn't end up with anybody. Like, I think that's good. I think that makes sense, and that really worked. And that whole scene of like Jonathan being like, well, you wanted honesty. I'm like, yes, you guys need to be honest with each other. You guys got together because bad things happened, and like we were there for it. I supported it, and then it just got kind of weird, and like this makes sense now. So I really loved that scene. I thought that was a really important scene. I think that was like episode 6 or chapter 6, whatever they're calling it. Episode 5 was definitely where we were getting a lot of info from Kali about like, why has she been kept captive this whole time? That was very disturbing. Very a little bit like, I don't want to say triggering, but I'm just like, oh God, they're just farming pregnant women. This is creepy. But then also like setting up the whole thing of like, what's 11 going to do? I thought that was really interesting. It's like, is she going to keep trying to run away from this whole situation, or is she going to like confront it head on and sacrifice herself? And I found that all very interesting. What else was going on? Will, of course, the coming out scene. I thought that was a really good scene. I don't know what some people are talking about with it like being a bad scene. I thought it was, I swear to God, some people are like watching the show while looking at their phones and not fully listening, because he literally said right before that scene, he has to do that so that he has no secrets from the rest of the group that can be used against him by Vecna. And so many people online are just like, I don't get why he had to do that. I'm just like, oh my God, listening comprehension is so low right now. But yeah, I thought that scene was carried out really well. Actually, it made me very emotional. I have never cried so much with this show as I have with season 5, and I think that's a good thing. I think season 5 was a lot less on the gore from the last couple of seasons, which I could live with because the story was good in the last couple of seasons, but it did get to be a bit much for me after a while. So this season I feel like was a lot more about the emotions than the violence or like the disturbing stuff. Other disturbing stuff, the whole like seance scene basically with Henry and the 12 kids. I was like, oh God, we're having a seance. Oh God, we're joining a cult. Oh no. And I think that's how episode 7 ends, if I remember correctly. Like it's a hard cut from that, and I'm just like, oh my God, these children, somebody save them. Oh, and of course we get a lot more of Sadie Sink's wonderful acting because Max is back, so that's nice. That whole hospital scene stressed me out so bad. I'm like, I don't know how they're getting out of this. Like, I'm gonna assume they get out of this, but I don't know. So obviously I was very happy when that all resolved. I didn't quite buy Karen being able to save everybody, but then I'm a certified Karen hater, so it's fine. I don't know. I found that whole part a little corny, especially when the Demogorgon was like a dog or a cat or something. I get that there's some 80s camp vibes to this show, and sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just a personal preference. I think overall I really enjoyed these episodes. But there are a couple things here and there where I'm like, I don't know about this. Also, the whole thing when Steve was like being super mean to Dustin and saying nasty things, I'm like, Steve, what the hell? I thought that was a little, I get that they were in a high stress situation, but him saying like nasty things about Eddie when Eddie's been one of my favorite characters on the show, I couldn't take it. I'm like, you're really gonna hit Dustin where it hurts right now, Steve. I don't know if I can forgive you for that. I don't know. I didn't like how they introduced that conflict so quickly and then like resolved it so quickly as well. Cause like, I don't know about you, my feelings would have been like hurt for a little bit longer than Dustin's were. That's all I'm saying about that. And generally I like Steve, right? Like I'm talking very positively about Jonathan and Nancy together, except that I think they should not be together at the same time. But I also don't think she should be with Steve. I think she should be on her own. I think that's for the best. But I think Steve has grown a lot, but then every now and then he does something or says something where I'm just like, dude, no, shut up. Like, that's just me. But I think that's something that works well with the characters on this show is that they are very human characters. They are not perfect. And so it is frustrating for me as a very grown woman when people online, who I'm assuming are younger than me or maybe just less emotionally mature than me, defend or attack certain characters because, like, oh, this character is a perfect person and this character is not, when I don't think that's necessarily true of the characters on this show. I think the point is that a lot of them are really complicated, and that's a good thing. I don't stan anybody on this show. They've all got a little something that, like, well, except maybe for Max. No one can attack Max at all. She's been through enough. Okay. Oh boy. So I'll talk a little bit about the finale. After chapters 5, 6, and 7, I was a little worried about the finale, but then on not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, we were in Puerto Rico at that point, and we watched the finale because honestly, we had just gotten in that day from flying all night, so we didn't do anything wild and crazy for New Year's Eve. It made sense to just stay in and watch television. And I thought the finale episode, perfect. Like, wrapped up everything. I thought it was a very cohesive episode, which some of the episodes that came before it I liked, but I didn't feel like they were super cohesive. But I felt like that finale was like a perfect, like, 2 hour wrapping everything up in a nice package while also leaving some things open-ended. I'm fine with certain things not being perfectly solved or like there being multiple options for where these characters go next. That feels realistic because, like, if these are quote unquote real people, then like their lives are going to go on beyond just this narrative, right? So I liked certain things being like open for interpretation. I kind of understand that like people who really, really liked Mike and 11 are probably upset. Maybe I'm biased because they were never my favorite characters, but I think it makes sense that she had to go. Like, there was no world in which she was not going to be chased after. So it's sad, of course, like I'm sobbing watching this, but at the same time, it's like, what other alternative really was there unless they totally overthrew the US government? You know what I mean? So yeah, it was very sad. But then I'm a big like Lucas and Max fan. I always have been, and I stand by that because first of all, they're adorable. The actors really make you believe that they have chemistry. And then also, if we think about it, the Sinclairs, so Lucas's parents, are literally the only like long-term married functional couple that we know who seem to actually like each other still. We get very little of them in the show, but out of like the core characters, they are the only like healthy, as far as we can tell, married couple that we see. Because the Wheelers clearly, I don't what are they doing? Dustin's dad is nowhere to be found. We don't know anything about that, but I can assume it's not great. Obviously, the Byers' parents should not have gotten together, although Jonathan and Will are great kids, but yeah. And then Max's whole situation is so messed up on so many levels. Like, so yeah, the Sinclairs are like the only good married couple we have as an example. So I buy it that like Lucas and Max would actually be able to make it long term. Maybe they don't. That's fine too. I don't think everyone should end up with whoever they were with in high school. Like, especially like we're heading into the 90s at the end of the show. Like, that's not going to be realistic for people anymore, and it shouldn't be. But yeah, I was crying so much the episode, and the whole graduation sequence, and the like Dungeons and Dragons storytelling at the end. I was like, oh, my babies, they're all grown up. So yeah, I really enjoyed how they ended things with the show. I thought it worked really well, and I was quite happy with it, even if there were things that just made me so sad. And obviously they're not everyone got a happy ending, but I think that's more realistic for a show. Anyway, my favorite tweet with regards to the finale, though, was that, because I noticed a couple days later, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, Max and Lucas finally got their movie date that they talked about in season 4. But my favorite tweet about that was like, since it's 1989, I like to imagine that they went and watched When Harry Met Sally, because that came out in 89, and they're like, it's what Rob Reiner would have wanted. And I'm like, yep, I pretty much agree. I think that would happen. So yeah. The other tweet I loved was with regards to Jonathan. And they're like, I'll watch your anti-capitalist cannibal movie, Jonathan. I'm like, yeah, same, I would. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get into the day by day. Let me know your thoughts on Stranger Things 5. I really enjoyed it overall. And yeah, I've definitely critiqued Stranger Things before in other seasons. And there's things that I didn't like about season 5, but they were so minor that like overall, I really loved the season and I thought it was a good farewell to the show. So anyway, Monday, I woke up early again because Clover woke me up. I forget what she was doing, but she woke me up. It was rainy that day. I did a workout from home, and then I was still grading papers at this point and feeling rather overwhelmed between trying to finish up work and like get a bunch of little things done for Christmas. Most things were done. It's just there were certain things that I'm like, these really need to happen like yesterday, and I just need to like focus and get them done. So I did address my Christmas cards this day because they had come in, I think they came in this day because I had ordered them like 2 weeks before or something like that. And then I just watched YouTube and read my book at the end of the day. Tuesday, I marked that it was 1 week until our vacation. Very exciting. I mailed out the Christmas cards and then I finished grading for the semester this day. So that is really good. It's easier when Christmas is later in the week, like it was this year and it will be next year. It's harder when Christmas is like Monday because of how the calendar shakes out. So I'll appreciate it when I can get the schedule that I like. And then I needed to do a Target drive-up order because I needed some stocking stuffers like candy and things like that. And then I finished wrapping gifts this day. Those scripts in that font are from Bella Planella. The yoga script and similar fonts are from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then the baked cookies and similar scripts are from Magical Sticker Co. I'm not going through all the character stickers, so if you have any questions about any of them, just let me know in a comment down below. But most of them are from like 3 different shops that I've mentioned a million times, so you can probably figure out where I got them. I sat down on the couch at some point and Evie just like crawled into my lap and wouldn't let me go. So she calmed me down a little bit. The Evie cuddles calmed me down. I did some yoga. I voiced over a plan with me. And then this was the night that we baked off our gingerbread cookies. So I have a cat-shaped cookie cutter and a llama-shaped cookie cutter. And so I like to make gingerbread cats and gingerbread llamas. We had made bizcochitos the weekend before, but we wanted the gingerbread dough to rest to have time to like shape up and hold its shape. So we baked those this night. And then I was rewatching Stranger Things season 5. I had hoped to watch all 4 episodes that were already out before Christmas, but this night I only got through chapters 1 and 2, which was totally fine. I marked that with a walkie-talkie from Carly Plans, one of her Friends Don't Lie sheets. Wednesday was Christmas Eve, so that little fireplace is from Bella Planella, and the Christmas Eve script is from Magical Sticker Co. We had a lot of storms this week, so one of them woke me up at 5 a.m., so that's what I'm marking with that Sweet Ava's Paper sticker. It was one of my friend's birthdays on Christmas Eve, so I marked that with a sticker from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I took a nap because I got woken up really early and I knew that we were going to go to my parents and be up late, so that corgi is from Corks and Corgs Co. and this script is from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then we had a thunderstorm that started like literally right as we were about to drive to my parents' house. So luckily, as we drove east, the rain and the storm stopped, but it was a little scary here for a second. Evie was very upset about it. And that weather icon is from Planet Hannah. I got ready, did my makeup and stuff, so that's from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then we went and visited my family and had dinner and did our sibling Secret Santa. So those 2 scripts are both from Bella Planella, as well as the stack of presents is also from Bella Planella. And then I forgot to leave space for this, so I had to pull everything up. But my husband got this sugar cookie Yeti cave from, I think, his boss at work. Like it was one of like the Target gingerbread kits, but it wasn't gingerbread. So him and my sister put that together. It was supposed to be a Yeti cave, so there was a lot of like bright blue and like white to it. So I just marked that with a pumpkin cat hot cocoa sticker. I don't think I had hot cocoa this night, but I didn't have like a gingerbread house sticker either. And it wasn't a gingerbread house anyway. And then of course we were still eating lots of Christmas cookies because we brought them. We brought the biscochitos and the gingerbread cookies to my parents this day, and they seem to be a big hit with everybody. So I guess I'll plan on stressing myself out next year and making more of those. I enjoy having them and I enjoy giving them to people, like not only family, but friends as well. So I don't mind, but it is one more thing to have to think about this time of year. Thursday was, of course, Christmas, so I have another icon from Bella Planella and a script from Magical Sticker Co. I was real emotional the days after Christmas, so I'm going to mark that with an emo, like crying guy from Corks and Corks Co. both days. We did have brunch with our upstairs neighbors who are our friends, so they came over. My husband made enchiladas, New Mexican style enchiladas, as well as I think that was it. We had it with like avocado and eggs and stuff like that, but that's like his traditional Christmas breakfast, and it's quite delicious. So we had that, and they brought over some bubbly, so we had a little bit of champagne. I tried not to have too much because I had a long day ahead of me. So that's from Sweet Ava's Paper, marking brunch. It was just good to like have some friend time in the midst of all the family time. Then my husband and I opened our gifts to and from each other. So that icon's from Sweet Ava's Paper, and the open gifts script is from Bella Planella. And one of my gifts to him was the Black Parade on vinyl. So we listened to at least side A while we were getting ready to go to my parents. So I'm going to put in a little record sticker from Corks and Corks Co. And then we got even more rain this day. It wasn't raining at our house when we left, but basically like the city in between where I live and where my parents live, there was an absolute downpour. So it was a little scary driving over there. So that weather icon is again from Planet Hannah. When we got there, a couple of my brothers and my sister-in-law and my husband and I, we played Settlers of Catan. I am not good at that game, but I'm not good at most board games, but I also don't care anymore. Like I used to be super competitive as a kid, and now I just am there for the love of the game. I don't care about winning. Then we had more presents to open with the family. So that sticker is from Corks and Corks Co. and the script is from Bella Planella. My sister, one of the notable gifts that I really remember, my sister got me the Sims board game, which is funny because I had it on my wish list at Target, but that's not a public wish list. So it was funny that she knew to get it for me. And the cats also got some gifts as well. They got some cat houses, some holiday cat houses. What else was notable? I got Cindy Gunter-Baldo's lettering book, so that was fun. And I wanted to mark next that my husband made pozole. We actually made it the day before, but we brought it and reheated it at my parents' house. I'm hoping I'm going to thank goodness I focused the camera there. So I just pulled in a little piece of deco from Bunny Bear Plans' Dia de los Muertos kit, so that's where that's from. I marked sharing photos as a family with a camera sticker from Corks and Corks Co. And then we only had time this night to watch the first new episode of Stranger Things, so chapter 5. So I marked that with an 11 sticker from Carly Plans. And then I just had a long talk with my sister after that. Friday, I marked being emotional again. I also marked that it was Kwanzaa and Boxing Day because I had the scripts for it from Planet Hannah. So I'm going to mark that with a sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then I built at least one of the cat houses from my sister and sent her photos of Evie immediately taking to it. She loved it. So I have this little cat icon. I think it was from Plan With Me stickers. I think. I don't remember. My husband did have to work from home this day because he was saving his PTO for the next week when we were going to be gone. So I have this little Nightmare Before Coffee sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper. I had a headache this day, but I did laundry. It was a rainy evening, like it was sunny in the morning, but then rainy again in the evening as that storm was coming through. And then my husband and I at home got to relax and watch chapter 6 and 7 of season 5 of Stranger Things. So I'm going to have a couple of stickers from Sweet Ava's Paper. I have a laundry sticker from Corks and Corks Co. And then the boom box is going to be from Carly Plans. And I did that because sorry, that was a little bit of a spoiler. Maybe I'll go take that out. Then on Saturday, I marked some mild cramps, although they weren't as bad as usual, so that was nice. I have a little shark sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper. I slept in. That's also from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then I just marked with this cute little like egg sticker from Planner Face that it was sunny this day, which was very nice after lots of storms and fog and all of that. We listened to the rest of the Black Parade album that I gave my husband on vinyl, so I have another record from Corks and Corgs Co. And then I was just cleaning up the house because one of my friends was going to stay here to cat sit for us for a few days while we were gone. So I wanted to make sure that things were clean. And after Christmas, there's always like stuff everywhere anyway, right? So I have a cleaning sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper and a tidy house script from Leonard Designs. I was listening to the Sticky Bun Boys podcast and filming a plan with me. So those are both going to be from Sweet Ava's Paper. And then I had put a churro and a cat toy in each of the cat's stockings because yes, my cats do have stockings. So I have a cute little cat tangled up in lights for that because they were both quite happy to get their churro treat. And then I was rewatching the rest of the episodes of season 5 of Stranger Things that I hadn't got to earlier in the week. So I marked that with a D20 from Carly Plans. And then I was just doing a bunch of Puerto Rico planning. So I have these cute corgis kissing under the mistletoe to mark that because it was seasonal and my husband and I were kind of fine-tuning our itinerary this day and the next day. And then also sharing that itinerary with the people who needed to have that information just so they knew where we were going to be for the next week. Sunday, I'm going to mark that it was a foggy morning. The sun came out later, but it was quite foggy in the morning, so I have this cute sticker from Fabled Court for that. And then I ended up setting up kind of a planner, kind of a junk journal for my Puerto Rico trip. So I have lots of little notebooks that I've gotten at planner conferences and things like that. So I decided to commit one of them to being a journal and like basically putting my whole itinerary in there for the trip because it was easier to carry around than one of my regular planners. And then I think it's going to turn into my junk journal, the first one for 2026. I've kind of resisted getting into junk journaling because I'm like, I don't need one more thing to work on, but I'll just do it as I like and we'll see how it goes. It doesn't have that many pages in it, this notebook. So after filling it up with 8 days of travel, like there's only so many pages that are blank anyway. So we'll just see where it goes. But I enjoyed having it for the trip and kind of like putting things in there as we went along. I didn't bring a tape runner or washi or anything. That's something I might have done differently if I had it to do over again. But I enjoyed having a written copy of our whole itinerary that I didn't have to like print out or anything like that. My husband got me a latte from the local bakery, so I have a Corks and Corgs Co. sticker for that. And then we did more Puerto Rico planning, so I have another Corks and Corgs Co. couple sticker for that because we were figuring out ferry tickets and all of those things. We ended up having to buy ferry tickets for a ferry that was way later than we wanted to take, but we fixed it eventually. It's just online. They only sold so many tickets. So yeah. And then I rewatched chapters 4 through 6 of season 5 of Stranger Things. So I have a waffle sticker for that from Carly Plants. And then I gave myself a pedicure because my old one had definitely worn off at this point. And most of the time in the winter, I don't have painted toenails, but because we were going to a very warm climate and I knew I was going to want to wear sandals, I decided to paint my toenails this day. So this is what's left of the kit. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I really love the theme of this. It kind of matches where I'm from, honestly. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. I will do my best to keep the video sections of this video spoiler free so you can browse at your leisure. But yeah, let me know what you thought or how your Christmas went. If you watched Stranger Things season 5, what did you think? And I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.